Hobden here calling for episode 3 of the Ones to Watch, and I have labelled this episode The Future of Dance, and I think I found a pair that could encapsulate all of that future. They are Brink Dance and Howl Creative, and they're an amazing collaboration that come together with kind of projection and animation and dancing and raving, and to be honest, they're just young, amazing and interesting people, and you need to know about them. I have a little message for you. Last week's film just totally blew up, and I did not mean for that to happen on purpose. It was a nice little surprise out of a little creative moment that I had there. I just want to assure everybody I'm absolutely fine, I'm totally happy, and I'm with lots of energy ready for you for this new episode. As per usual, we have tips and tricks, we have a fantastic interview. I'm talking too much, let's go straight into the intro. Whoop-oo! So where are we? We're on episode 3 of the Ones to Watch, and it's the future of dance. And what I thought I would do, instead of tips and tricks this week, I thought I would give you my 3 predictions for upcoming things in the future of dance. Now, they're not based particularly on science, they're just based on my brain and my mates as well that we've been talking to see what we can come up with. Let's jump straight in with prediction number 1. I don't think this one, in prediction number 1, is that much of a surprise. I think that we're going to see a huge explosion in digital media across dance. If it's not virtual reality, it's going to be augmented reality. If it's not augmented reality, it's going to be motion capture. At the wonderful Dance East where I am, we have a great green screen studio that's being built. So it already tells you that the dance houses are already changing. So I think it's pretty clear to say us dancey types are going to have to get a little bit techie. So, number 2 for me is all about how people are accessing dance. Actually, it was kind of trapped in theatres and maybe a bit outdoors and maybe in some different places, but dance over this whole pandemic seems to be opening up crazy. Dance classes are happening outside, like that's the most natural choice. They're happening in VR, they're happening on streaming platforms, and all of those kind of hidden audience, and I've spoken about that in other episodes, beginning to reveal themselves. People are interested in dance, they absolutely love it, but are just a bit too nervous to go to the buildings, to go to the theatres, to come to your dance class. But now they can creep in on the edges, a bit digital, and explore. Now, we're experts in making sure that we can get them from being in one place to the other. So the one place being scared and the one place being happy and dancing. And that's where our opportunity is. So prediction number 2 is all about the opening access of dance and the incredible opportunities that are on their way. Now, prediction number 3 is maybe a bit more of a surprising one. I think that the sense of physical touch for the communities and individuals is going to go through the roof. I've already seen in the classes that I've been teaching that young people are worried about touch. They don't know what the rules are. They don't know what the parameters are. And actually, when we finally come out of this pandemic, we're going to need a little bit of re-education about how we can be, how we can trust each other. We certainly don't want people for the rest of their lives being worried about it. Dancers are best placed to be able to offer this. We can offer things in being able to have fun, be creative with it, and just to remind ourselves about how bodies can touch in a safe and happy and friendly way. Isn't dance brilliant? Creative. So I hope you enjoyed my little vision into the future. Now I thought we'd get a little bit more real, and by saying real, what I mean is I've got two actual people that I actually interviewed to find out what their future of practice is. We're with the amazing Daisy and Aaron of Brink Dance and Howl Creative. I'm not going to do any more talking. The interview's great. You should just watch them. What did you say?
I can't see it now, it's recorded.
It doesn't matter because I kind of edit in and around and all. It's absolutely fine. The first thing that I kind of wanted to ask the both of you is, for anybody that's never met you, for anybody that doesn't know you, could you introduce yourself, and could you maybe try and tell us, like if my mum was listening, like what Howl Creative, what you guys are all about?
Interesting. I love when we have to look at each other. I can jump in, honest. So I run a Brink Dance company, which is based in Manchester, and we specialise in cross-collaborative art, and I work with the lovely, obviously, Aaron. In like a really quick summary, I absolutely love making and moving. I graduated about 2 years ago, and ever since then, I've just been raving and making lots of weird and wonderful things in lots of different capacities. That really sums it up. I'm not going to do a big, like, my CV. I just love making and doing groovy things, and I work in cross-collaboration with this lovely man.
And my company is, like, basically visual art, animation, film, all in collaboration with, like, dance, theatre, and music. Majority of the time, it's me that's, like, doing the making, but, again, the team, like, extends to, like, collaborators. Yeah, me and Dave have been working together for the past, like...
We try to find this every time. 4 years?
Yeah.
4 years. And I feel like we do lots of different things and cross over all the time. So I think it's interesting that we're Howl Creative and Brink Dance, but now it's probably merging into something else, which is exciting.
Will that have another title, or will it just kind of be this kind of collaborative thing? Or have I brought up something?
No, I think it depends on what we're kind of going for, but I think it's quite nice to have different artists represented, because then when we show what we're doing as cross-art collaboration, it's really clear that we're different art forms and we're merging rather than just being this one entity. But yeah, everyone knows, but also we have the same surname, so people know us as Howl a lot. So I'm in Aaron's Howl Creative, so yeah, we're just merging slowly.
Okay, I see. And so, like, today's episode, I've kind of titled as the sort of the future of dance, and like, so I see you guys as the future of dance. One, because you're sort of brilliantly young and wonderful, and that clearly means that you're the future. But the second thing is that you don't seem to be constricted at all by, you know, what you create. You seem to be able to create all kinds of things. You know, one day I saw an animation, and then I saw a film, and then I saw a rave night, and then I saw. So can you like what is the future of dance for you guys? I mean, what does that mean?
Yeah, I guess from my point of view is I'm just so excited by just working with dance in general. So it never seems to be just quite set, as in like we're making a stage thing and we'll make another stage thing and we'll make another. It's kind of, we get so excitable about what we have access to in that moment, and the majority of the time that's based on either the commission or the people we're working with, an extension of the team, whether it's a musician, then yeah, we just love like delving into them different routes.
And I don't feel like those routes that we take are always in the traditional sense of we're going to be on stage, on theatre. I think we love being in non-traditional contexts. So we've done our work in churches and shopping centres and community halls, and that's where we kind of get our kicks from. And when you talk about the future of dance, like, I never thought I'd go into cross-collaborative art the way I have, and I'm so happy I have. It's been the best kind of like choice I've ever made as an artist. And I think for us, it's about collaborating and mixing and merging rather than like separating and not being a team. And the world that Aaron opens up to me and the world I open up to him via our different mediums is just, that's the future. That blur, I think, is the future.
But when does it work? When does it work best between you? I mean, when do you find your mojo like between each other? Because I know that when I've done collaborations, there's always a sticky bit at the beginning where you just think, "Well, I don't understand you." But when do you find your groove?
I think it's hard because we've been doing it for quite a while now. We do a lot by just based on instinct and like research that we've already done, so it never feels like we're starting from
fresh.
The beginning when it comes to a process. But as we mentioned, like Vanilla picked up before, like we both also like working individually and like specialize in what we do, which then means that we can like bring something to the other person, like, hey, I'm doing this at the minute, and then hand it over, and vice versa.
Yeah, we're very clear with what we're working on in our own crafts and being very like, okay, this is what I'm investigating, so like let's jump and see. But I will jump in on another note as well. We started on raving, that was it. We started on the dance floor. Like, I don't think our research ever starts like in a studio doing something very clinical. We started with the research being like our nights out, our club experiences, our love for music, film. Like, it started from that route. It never started as me and Aaron in a studio being like, we should make something. It started off with us probably having a very crazy rave night and being like, hey, I love this. You love it too.
Which is really crazy, and possibly one of the things that I might pull out as a bit of a thing for the future is that this sense of like contemporary dance is over here, and then, you know, popular dancing like in a nightclub is over here, and then never the two shall meet kind of thing. And it's actually like, well, dance is dance is dance is dance kind of thing. And actually, if you're like raving, thousands of people really connect to that kind of thing, which allows your kind of future to sort of really grow. I mean, what is it about raving particularly that draws you in?
Oh my, I have so many things to say on that.
Try not get emotional because none of us have been out for a long time.
I know, I'm sorry.
I'm missing it.
Sorry.
I think for us, when we talk about rave, it's not as simple as this is partying and we're just getting drunk and we're going crazy. When we look at rave, it's about the escapism, the joy, the physicality, that emotive connection you have with someone on the dance floor. That might be 5 minutes, it might be a fleeting friendship you have for one night, it might be a best friend relation. I don't know. There's so many things that come out of it, and the movement of rave, what it does with people's expression, their identity, fashion, like it's a whole new ball game and a whole new arena that exists kind of underground and a little bit kind of off the wall. And I think it's a beautiful place. And I know people don't always agree with me because they often have a darker side as well. We are aware of that and we don't ignore that in our work. But I think they're also just amazing places where people really find their feet and their love for bass, and I'm there for that.
Yeah. As you said as well, like dance is dance. So for us, it makes so much sense to bring them things together. Like, you know, in a dance floor crowd, like it's exciting to dance with new people as much as people try to recreate in a studio. Like, why recreate when you can have the real thing?
Sweaty.
Yeah.
And in your favourite outfits.
Yeah.
And well, I was going to say, and why can't a performance have, you know, the performer sweating and the audience sweating and everybody kind of all together? It just feels like, you know, like in traditional performances, it's sort of quite, everything's all sort of pulled apart. I mean, theatre seems to be doing it and dance is trying, but actually I thought that your company was one of those ones that was like going, I'm just going to blur it all up together. You know, there's this experience of that.
Because why not? Because the audience, it's for the audience. You want the audience to feel and leave feeling something. So if they feel the hype and they get involved, that's the best thing ever. I would hate for people to watch our work and feel very like separate. It was why our Night People project that we've done recently was all about engaging people. That's like the heart of it. And I think we've always been audience led when it comes to that. And that comes from being in the rave scene and going to those events and seeing that it's about the people. The actual atmosphere and music is like incredible, but at the end of the day, it's about people just moving. And I think that's what we want to try and get without, you know, pushing too many kind of, you know, we can't always be performing at raves. We have to perform in other contexts, but it's about blurring those lines a little bit because why not? It's 2020.
Yeah. Could you tell us about your last project that you've just done? Because that's the one that got me so excited about you guys.
Well, I'll try and roughly explain it. So we got commissioned by Social Convention London in August to create like a virtual event. Well, we decided it was going to be a virtual event. I think they said to us, research something, and we said, event. So we made an online rave event that had a collaboration of motion capture, audio-active visuals, contemporary dance, screen dance, film, digital art, all kind of set up in a way that was like a festival-styled experience. And it was like a little bit of a narrative around these people called the Night People, who were like pro-ravers, who were guiding you on this night out and exploring different avenues of what a night out was. But on top of that, it was about the audience having a night out but in, because obviously we're in lockdown. So there was like a live chat box so people could talk. We had kind of things happening on screen where we were kind of talking to the audience almost, kind of directing them and, you know, playing some drinking games or, you know, having a dance, turning their speakers up. And it was a way to let people have some fun during this very surreal time and bring in cross collaboration at its finest. There was a lot going on. Yeah.
And do you think that that's something that's gonna extend through kind of this time? So do you think that's something you're going to keep going forwards now? Because you know, some people are saying, oh, these streaming events is just a window, you know, because we're all in lockdown. But what do you feel about it?
I think it's hard because for me, the inspiration for the Night People event came from a bit earlier in lockdown. Like, I was really loving watching a lot of like DJ and music streams.
Mm-hmm.
I love the element of it. I can still see that set and have it in my home and like have a drink and have a boogie. But for me, I was like, our work can take that to the next step and like have something visual, have something a bit more emotive attached to it. And I think we're not even scratching the surface of what that is to do with like an online setting or an online platform where people interact with it from their home. But I think it's that balance between not just recreating it for the sake of like mourning that loss, but also using what it actually is to create something new and exciting and really utilize it. And for me, the whole project at the end, I was so proud that I didn't feel compromised by what the product was. It didn't feel like we were just sharing it on that platform for the sake of, because we had no other choice. It was more like, yeah, we want to have an audience that can like talk throughout. We want to have an audience that can
party.
Yeah, and watch it however they need to be. Like, and yeah, if they get something out of that is in addition to their night that they've not had in lockdown, then amazing.
It wasn't just for lockdown as well. Like I do envision it as something we could have as something that is valid anyway, despite COVID-19. And Aaron is so right. There was, you know, some people watched it at home on their sofa, drinking a glass of wine. Some people had their rave lights on and had speakers up. Some people watched it on the train. I love that. I think that's great that art can be seen in that way and you can choose. So I think it has validity in the future.
And so exciting in terms of performative, you know, like how you can be seen, like, you know, you can now be seen here and you can be watched on a train. And like, you know, like there are so many times I've just been like, I really want to get to that, but I can't because I can't be in that theatre because I'm not going to have enough time to get from there to there. And now suddenly I can go to things, or it could happen there live that night, but I could also experience it at the same time if I can't get there. And it's like, actually that access seems to be kind of really, really opening up, which is kind of awesome. And I highly suspect that when you come to live performances, there'll be things from the digital ones that you'll be like going, we learnt that from that, so that has to be in the live now. You know, it's like it can't go back.
Yeah, I think it's all about creating accessibility and a platform where people can view it despite whatever situation they're in. So the aim for Night People is obviously we could carry it on a virtual capacity, but if we could put it in a real life capacity, how can we make it in a way that's just as much exciting and just as much involving everyone, as well as being online? And I think it's really shifted our practice. I don't think we'll make anything the same now. I think it's like set a pillar of where we're going to head.
See, I told you, future of dance. There we go. Thank you very much. It's excellent. All right, now I've got like just a couple more questions, which are just to do with kind of collaboration. This whole channel has been about loads of tips for loads of people. You are a really successful collaboration. Could you give us like a top 3 kind of tips for collaboration?
I guess it's just understanding what you like and what you can offer, and then finding collaborators where that aligns, and not necessarily like everything aligning is you've got exactly the same interests. Like friction is also necessary, but yeah, the core of it, that you're excited by the same things and you're excited by sharing the things that you have to offer.
You don't need to be an expert in everything, and be okay with not being the expert in everything. When I first met Aaron and we started collaborating, I didn't know anything about visual art and digital art and animation. I've had to like let go of my ego, learn about it, ask questions, be curious. And the same for Aaron on my part. I'm being super okay with that conversation. Like, you're going to look at each other sometimes and be like, what the hell are you doing? I don't understand how your practice works and how mine works with yours. Okay, let's reevaluate and have a play. And I don't like being like, oh, just play and find. I think it's being quite like direct and being like, let's question, research, go for it, and not be scared to be quite brutally honest with each other.
I think when it comes to collaboration, a lot of things I hear is it is easy to get intimidated by taking on a whole new world. Whether that be like a technical world, whether that be like performative, like you are throwing yourself into the unknown. But when you find a collaborator that has all that, like see the excitement in it and potential, rather than like, oh, I don't really know how to work with it, like they're equally as skilled in their craft as you are in yours. So yeah, kind of have some trust in what they can bring and
Which I guess leads me, maybe I might sum up that third tip, which is to do with the fact of something about hierarchy. You both feel very equal in terms of respecting each other and understanding each other. And I sometimes see some collaborations fall apart because it's like I'm in charge and you're coming in to help me, but you don't seem like that. Is that right? Have I got that?
I would honestly, it's my biggest thing I have to say to people. So me and Aaron work together. We also have a fantastic composer who works with us as well. He's called Luke Marley.
Okay.
We work as a three mostly, and it's just equal footing. And every art form is valid, and every art form gets showcased in the way it should be and deserve to be. Mm-hmm. Obviously, if there was one moment where you're like, okay, the dance really needs to take forefront here, and the visual art's going to like support that, and then we're going to flip it. And you know, there's this conversation. It's not all like just plain sailing, but yeah, I do get a bit frustrated when people go, we're in collaboration, but it's a hierarchy of this is the main thing and then this is the decorative thing that's just giving us a bit of a bonus. Hell no to that. And we need to get rid of that kind of hierarchical elitist structure of collaboration, because that's not a collaboration, that's something else.
Which leads me to last to say, are you happy for people to reach out and get in touch with you?
Please slide into our DMs anytime.
I can't cope with any more messaging. All right. Well, you guys have been absolutely amazing. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
it's been really
thanks,
fun.
Daisy and Aaron, thank you so much for that brilliant interview. You guys are like full of joy, you're full of energy, and you are full of ideas that I swear are going to be the future of dance. It's all that projection and animation, the way that you're fusing it together and putting it in the community and doing something with really popular with the idea of raving as well, I think is just genius. So where are we? On the end of episode 3, I'm going to say, if you've liked this film, please give it a thumbs up. It makes me feel better and it makes you feel better as well. If you haven't already subscribed, which I can't imagine why you wouldn't have done that, please subscribe down below. Also, leave a lovely comment. Maybe you agree with my predictions. Maybe you don't agree with my predictions. Who knows? Maybe you've got predictions of yourself. Just pop them in the comments. That'll really be fantastic. And a whole community can read all the wonderful stuff that's coming up. Let me think. What have I missed out on? Aha! I want to see everybody dancing every day. I've had my dance today. I have been raving right a bit at the beginning of this episode. Maybe you should pick your favourite rave track. Maybe you should bust it out in the kitchen, and maybe you should film it and totally send it to me, because I want to know that you're actually doing this stuff. I think that's it. Episode 3 over and out. Thank you very much. Goodbye.